Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
Very first actress in history to become box office poison before she ever came box office.
Rachel Zegler, once on top of the world. But now, her career's in freefall. And guess what? It's all because of her own mistakes. Could this be the end of her stardom? Keep watching to find out how everything came crashing down, because it's not what you think.
Zegler has been called many things already in her career. From narcissist to egomaniac, selfish and spoiled brat, even the most unhireable actress in Hollywood. But for me, there are only two words that describe her the best: cringe and condoms.
Cringe-worthy moments, and yet she keeps racking up the hate like it's some sort of twisted trophy. Her $600 million Disney disaster, absolute tank, Evita. A ghost town merch. Collecting dust on shelves. And now, even Hollywood's fed up with her. But here's the big question. Is this the end, or just the beginning of her downfall?
Zegler, being 23 or whatever she is, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantada is the only global solution.
Cringe-worthy moments, and yet she keeps racking up the hate like it's some sort of twisted trophy. Her $600 million Disney disaster, absolute tank. Evita, a ghost town merch, collecting dust on shelves. And now even Hollywood's fed up with her? But here's the big question. Is this the end, or just the beginning of her downfall?
Is that the only thing Rachel Zegler believes in? Is that she's God's gift to Mother Earth and the only star that shines in the solar system?
I'm a narcissist.
Rachel Zegler has been called many things already in her career.
According to insiders aka, anyone with access to a Google search, Rachel Zegler's dropped 5 major bombs in a row. And it's not like people were out for her from the start. No one wakes up and thinks, I hope this promising actress gets wrecked by the very studio that cast her. But Rachel, she earned the hate, worked for it. And here's the kicker, most of it wasn't even about her acting. No, it was all about what she said. And trust me, it wasn't pretty. So what? Went wrong? Why did her words become the final nail in the coffin?
Slate of interviews where she humble brags how humbled she is by her own humility.
Let's talk about Snow White, a role that should have been Rachel Zegler's. Disney legacy, the movie little girls watch over and over for generations. But instead, it turned into the cinematic version of a car fire in a snowstorm. And what did Rachel do? She dragged the original story like it personally keyed her car. She called the prince a stalker, said the original was weird. Weird. You're remaking a fairy tale, and your first move is to mock it. It's like opening a restaurant and saying, by the way, food is disgusting. Why would anyone order from you after that?
The cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
Then, social media happened. By 2023, Rachel Zegler wasn't trending because of her roles. No. She was trending because no one could believe how arrogant and clueless one actress could sound in every single interview. She became the human version of the eye roll emoji, the tweets. They practically wrote themselves. Zegler strikes again. Snow White, but make it condescending, and the viral challenge. Rachel, please, for the love of all things sacred, stop talking. But here's the thing, impossible. She kept talking.
In a way that's quite deranged. No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Now, 2025. Disney, the same Disney that once shoved her face on every billboard. Like she was the second coming of Broadway, has ghosted her. No calls, no texts. They've gone full who on her. And as Rachel unravels the internet, is loving it, popcorn in hand, watching her every misstep. Because here's the thing. There's no comeback when the world's already moved on.
Actually, Rachel Zegler, who is the new Snow White, and she's talking about Snow White being woke. Can you tell us a little bit about your version of Snow White?
Yeah, I mean, Snow White is the girl you remember, but she's definitely made for the modern age, and there's such an emphasis on what it really means to be the fairest of them all. And for Snow White, it's coming to terms with finding herself and finding her inner voice and finding a sense of agency so that she can be a just ruler.
If you think that's bad, wait until we talk about Evita, her big West End debut at the iconic London Palladium. Now, this place is no joke. 2,286 seats, a historic venue with legends like Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice behind the original. This should have been her comeback, her "she's still got it" moment. Instead, over 70% of those seats. Empty. Not early show, will sell later, empty. I'm talking rows and rows of ghost town emptiness from June to August 2025. The only thing emptier than the theater. Her self-awareness.
Zegler pulled a con so bold in London, audiences were screaming refund in 4 languages. Let's just say that thanks to Zegler, a bad publicity stunt, and a few hundred smartphones, the big number she was supposed to sing in Evita is now all over social media.
Here's the kicker. They slashed prices. We're talking seats going for $2,950. Cheaper than some theme park hot dogs. Still, no one was buying. Premium front row seats just sat there like they were haunted. Even the scalpers gave up. If that doesn't scream flop, I don't know what does. But of course, her team tried to spin it. They said, oh, we've already racked up $4 million in pre-sales. Sure. And I'm the queen of Govia. If you've got $4 million in ticket sales, explain why I can still log on to the booking site and grab 6 seats together on a Saturday night. People on Reddit were straight up calling it a scam. PR spin. Fake hype. Evita was performing for ghosts. I mean, that's not just my spicy commentary. Those are actual quotes.
An iconic song, yes, but it's the balcony grabbing all the attention.
But here's the most Rachel Zegler thing she could have possibly done. Instead of fixing the mess, or, not irritating the fans who actually paid to be there, she pulled off the most tone-deaf stunt imaginable. She decided to perform her big number, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, not on stage, but from the balcony, out to the street. Yup, while the people who dropped $500 plus 4 premium seats sat inside. Watching her on a screen, she was out there serenading random strangers on the sidewalk for free. Classic.
It's the exact reason why the actress suddenly kicked off her comeback tour with a one-way ticket to London where she could scam suckers out of 500 tickets to watch her on a jumbo giant screen. That's it.
That's it. Who does that? You've got people dropping hundreds for a live experience. And what do they get? A live stream. Meanwhile, tourists with ice cream cones and no ticket stubs are getting the full show outside for free. It's like buying Beyonce's tickets and she decides to sing in the parking lot for the Uber drivers. Social media exploded. Con. Bait and switch, some even called it a psychological heist. Theater robbery with glitter started trending, and honestly, not wrong. Paying customers were waiting to see her on stage, and she took off too. Serenade strangers from a balcony instead. The truth is, I never left you.
Paying customers are waiting to see her on stage, and she took off and headed to a balcony where she could belt out Evita's hit song, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, live for free to strangers on the street.
Just when you think it can't get worse, enter Snow White, the cinematic Chernobyl. According to leaks, Disney dropped around $600 million into this disaster. That's production, marketing. Reshoots enough to fund 3 Marvel movies and still have change for an Avengers group therapy session. And for what? Theater owners begging Disney to let them pull it early. Some didn't even wait. They swapped Snow White out mid-run for whatever they could find lying around documentaries. Releases. Rumor has it one theater just threw up a slideshow of paint drying and got better attendance. Then came the backlash. First, the dwarfs were too problematic, classic move from the progressives.
They couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
Right? And then came the video that broke the internet. A clip from inside a Snow White showing. You see the seats, all of them, empty. Not, oh, it's early or slow buzz. We'll pick up later. No, empty. You could hear the echoes from the projector. One Twitter user said, "You could have filmed a horror movie in that theater and no one would have noticed." Ouch. And internationally, it gets worse. Lebanon didn't just pull the showtimes, they banned the entire movie. Full stop. No distribution, no screenings. Disney didn't just bomb at the box office. They triggered a diplomatic exorcism.
The film that bombed so hard that it only brought in $50 a screen over Mother's Day weekend is now somehow the #1 streaming hit on Disney+. And before you ask, you're going to say, how did this happen?
Snow White, the film that bombed so hard it only brought in $50 a screen on Mother's Day weekend, is now somehow a #1 streaming hit on Disney+. So you're probably asking, how did this happen? And here's the cherry on this. Nightmare Sunday. While Rachel's movie was collapsing, Lilo and Stitch, yes. The animated Alien movie from 2002 came in with its live-action remake and outturned Snow White's entire US box office run in its first weekend. Let that sink. In an alien dog beat a legacy Disney princess reboot. Rachel got bodied by a blue gremlin and a ukulele.
It's easier because she's had a long history of saying woke, annoying things. Our new Snow White.
And this wasn't some accident. This is Rachel Zegler's brand, a long history of saying the most woke, annoying things. Our new Snow White. This isn't just one bad project. This is a performance art piece of failure. This is what happens when Hollywood pours more money into ego than into actual audience connection. Rachel Zegler stood on stage, on balconies, and on red carpets, screaming about how she was the future. And now she's the punchline.
That at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
You heard that right. Zegler not only believes that she's a priceless work of art, she thinks she's sacred, and she doesn't just shout that into the mirror.
You've heard her say it at every premiere and everything I do. People will wait in line to see me. Yep, you heard that right. Zegler not only believes she's a priceless work of art, she thinks she's sacred. And she doesn't just shout this into the mirror. Somehow, she keeps doubling down, pretending the house isn't on fire while she's roasting marshmallows on the flames of her own reputation. She disrespected the classics, belittled the fans, trashed a fairy tale. Now, she's shocked, no. One's buying tickets to see her reenact it live. Let's talk about the merch, because when even Disney can't sell you as a princess. You know, the delusion has officially hit rock bottom. In their infinite wisdom, Disney thought they'd play the
high-priced, no-return item that ends up serenading a few while screwing others with a bad dye job.
collector's cards, limited edition Snow White merch, because that always works, right? Disney decided to create exclusive hype by releasing t-shirts, mugs, dolls, you name it, with Rachel's face plastered on everything, like she was the second coming of Cinderella. High price, no return, and it ended up serenading a few while screwing others with a bad deal. The plan was obvious. Make it scarce, create a buzz, and watch desperate fans fight over it like it's 2001 and Beanie Babies are coming back. But guess what? Fast forward a few months and the shelves, still full. Not a mug out of place, not a single doll with a bent box. Just sitting there like time had forgotten them. Even the clearance bins were getting embarrassed for a long time. It seemed nobody captured the public's disdain like Rachel Zegler did. The damage had been done. Retailers tried everything: quiet price cuts, unadvertised discounts, slapping a red sticker on it and praying, but the demand. Dead. Even as a gag gift. Nobody wanted this stuff. One poor cashier was even caught on camera using Snow White mugs as doorstops. That's how bad it got.
Long time, it seems that nobody has quite captured the public's disdain like our girl, Rachel Zegler. The damage had been done.
And then, the roast of all roasts. A fan on Reddit summed up the entire debacle in one sentence. You can't sell woke if no one's buying. Mic drop. Disney tried to manufacture nostalgia, but they accidentally built a warehouse of unsold. Regret if this was supposed to be a branding success. Congratulations. Rachel Zegler just became the face of the clearance aisle. Once a wholesome family film, now turned into woke trash. Check this out. From the wokeness to the controversy. Disney's Snow White turned into a mess with comments like harm should befall Trump and his voters. Do not see this film. Yeah, that's a great way to sell tickets.
A wholesome family film, and now they've turned it into woke trash. Check this out from Men Wokeness. Disney's Snow White said that harm should befall Trump and his voters. Do not see this film.
But we're just getting started. After the shelves stayed full and the theaters stayed empty, Rachel herself started to crack. I mean, full-on meltdown mode? We're talking live streams where she looked like she was either about to cry or auditioning for a soap opera reboot. The fake vulnerability was so cringeworthy, it made actual actors cringe. She ranted in interviews, deflected in Q&As, and somehow always circled back to the internet is mean. Like that was the real issue, not the dumpster fire she helped light. She hasn't learned a thing. One minute she's playing the martyr of the Magic Kingdom, and the next, she's telling a fan.
Proves that she hasn't learned a thing, because one minute she's playing the martyr of the Magic Kingdom, and the next, she's telling a reporter that she's the new based princess.
And then came the reporter moment, where she crowned herself the new based princess. She said, "I was gifted very good cheekbones from God," which is something I thank him for constantly. Yep, cheekbones. And of course, the dimples. She literally manifested them as a kid. Can you feel the humble brag? And then came the Instagram moment. Flowers in hand, a forced smile, voice shaking like a Wi-Fi connection during a thunderstorm. It's clearly trying to make it a resilient queen moment. But fans, they weren't having it. They saw right through it. One person commented, "She's holding flowers like it's a funeral," and they weren't wrong.
There's a shot at ever becoming Miss America, because female contestants there preach about ending hunger and then pray for world peace. But not Zegler. She only wants cheekbones and dimples. Not a happy family, not wisdom, not talent.
The red carpet didn't look like a celebration, it looked like a eulogy. There goes any shot at Miss America, because those contestants preach ending hunger and praying for world peace. Not Zegler. She only wants cheekbones and dimples. Not family values, not wisdom, not talent. And then ... the memes. The memes. There's footage of her sitting alone in a theater, empty seats all around. The internet wasted no time slapping captions on it. Snow White and the 7 empty seats. Box office bombshell. When your career pulls off a disappearing act better than the evil queen herself, it's safe to say things aren't going well.
Time I forget about Rachel Zegler, there she is again, creeping right back into the headlines like a stalker with a sad card and a god complex. Except now it's a casting director who was drunk enough to offer her the role of Maria in the new Sound of Music remake. That's right, you're not hallucinating.
TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, they all piled on. It was like watching the world's most public breakdown, and the internet turned it into a group project. Every time I think I've forgotten about Rachel Zegler, there she is again, creeping back into the headlines like a stalker with a SAG card and a god complex. But guess what? Now she's got a casting director drunk enough to offer her the role of Maria in the new Sound of Music remake. Yes, you're not hallucinating.
Really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
And while Rachel was busy crying in 4K, her co-stars were already jumping ship. Let's start with Gal Gadot, aka Wonder Woman, who delivered the most graceful backhand in Hollywood history. When asked about Snow White's failure, she didn't even flinch. She called it a corporate misalignment. No look of pity, no forced smile. Just don't look at me. I showed up, did my scenes, and went home. It's really not about the love story at all. Whether she finds love along the way, who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? But wait, it gets better. When asked about her experience with Rachel, Gal said, and I quote, "I'll talk about that when I feel comfortable." One sentence. 10.
Believe that there's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion.
1,000 rumors. You don't need to be a PR expert to read between those lines. She basically told the world, yeah, we're done here. Underscore something happened. No, I'm not defending her. Yes, it was a mess. But remember Andrew Burnap, the guy who was supposed to play the prince. He didn't even bother showing up to the premiere. No press, no red carpet, nothing. He just disappeared, and we all know why. Rachel had already gone on record saying all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. And guess what? They did. She torpedoed his role before the movie even hit theaters. That's not sabotage? I don't know what is.
Unfollow button. I don't need your business.
Babe, what business do you need?
So now you've got Gal playing polite avoidance, Andrew pulling a Houdini. And Rachel's still wondering why she's performing two empty chairs. It's almost impressive how quickly she managed to alienate an entire cast. I'm starting to think there's something seriously wrong with her. She's disturbed, unhappy, and somehow she thinks it's all about feminism, the patriarchy, and abortion.
I love me. I love you. I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and I have to pretend like, oh God, I love you.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Disney made their quietest but loudest move. They canceled the Tangled live-action reboot. Poof, gone. No trailer. No teaser, no statement. Like it never existed. And why? Because Rachel Zegler was rumored to be the lead, Rapunzel. Disney was about to hand over one of their most beloved franchises to the same actress who turned Snow White into ashes. You can't make this stuff up. Just hit the unfollow button. According to insiders say anyone with Google the execs didn't want to deal with another PR disaster. No one wanted a repeat of TikTok roasting Disney dolls, so they quietly buried it like a cursed object in the woods, hoping no one would ever dig it up again.
In one clip, she calls the Sharks, the rival gang of the Jets in this new version of West Side Story, a rainbow of the Latino community, and then struggles to name what constitutes Latino diversity.
But this wasn't just about Tangled. This was a signal. A flashing neon sign that screamed, "We're done with this." Disney, the company that built its empire on squeaky clean princesses and rainbow dreams, took one look at Snow White's flaming wreckage and said, nah, not worth it. Let's get real here. Before Rachel Zegler got cast in West Side Story, Snow White and the Hunger Games, she had one credit on IMDb, a single digit. And suddenly, she's getting handed legacy franchises like she's cured cancer. Spielberg. The Spielberg literally handpicked her for Snow White. You'd think that endorsement alone would carry some weight. But here we are in 2025 and
different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie.
Anne hasn't uttered a word since her movie detonated like a box office nuke. Radio silence. Crickets. In one clip, she called the Sharks in West Side Story a rainbow of the Latino community. Then struggled to name what actually constitutes Latino diversity. Critics didn't hold back. They called her a charisma experiment, not a star. Just a theory someone in a suit cooked up to see if audiences would fall in love with the name before the talent showed up. They didn't, because you can't force connection. You can't skip the grind. You can't become beloved just because your PR team says so.
Recently told that to a reporter and her psychiatrist that every inch of her body is built inside and out to be worshipped. My compassion has no boundary.
And now, she's being compared to Sam Worthington and Jai Courtney. Remember them? Big budgets, big roles, big nothing. They were supposed to be the next big thing and vanished faster than you can say box office flop. That's the club. Rachel's in now. The oops, we pushed too hard and too fast club. And speaking of flops, let's talk numbers. Cold, brutal stats. Snow White, the movie Disney poured hundreds of millions into, couldn't even crack $100 million at the US box office for a Disney princess film. That's not just bad. That's legendary level failure. You almost have to try to bomb that hard. And here's where it gets truly embarrassing. What movie beat Snow White's entire domestic haul in just one weekend? Minecraft, the movie. Yeah, that pixelated, blocky fever dream with Jack Black yelling into a microphone. A film people thought would be a meme turned into a moneymaker. Why? Because it didn't lecture the audience. It didn't pretend to fix a classic. It just had fun. Meanwhile, Rachel's Snow White was too busy rewriting fairy tales like it was auditioning for a TED Talk.
Recreated it. You know, Disney's gone woke, as I keep telling you guys, even though a lot of the woke stuff is disappearing.
And if that wasn't humiliating enough, Snow White's IMDb rating now ranks among the lowest for any modern Disney release. That includes the ones nobody even remembers. Fans and critics alike just piled on. And the worst part? Disney allegedly pulled the plug on future plans for Snow White because they couldn't save it. Not even the mouse could rescue this sinking ship. Underscore, they tried to spin it. Disney pushed the narrative that Snow White was performing so well on Disney+. But here's the thing, they refused to release actual viewership numbers. They made it up. Panic mode. Trying to polish a turd, hoping no one would notice it still reeked of disappointment. But Disney wasn't just worried about Snow White. Insiders say the execs were in full damage.
Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
Announcements actively
just
trying to erase it from
that
Disney's
screen
desperation. Erase like
Once
it
she
never
senses
happened.
a co-star might
That's how
outshine
bad
her.
it got. Smoke break. They didn't want it just forgotten.
Out come the
They
claws.
wanted it gone. The Hollywood hitman in high
Disney's
heels.
vault holds
It all
decades of
happened
content.
fast. But this one, in less than 24 months, was
she went from
radioactive.
being
The
next
Disney
big
scrambled to the
save
next
face.
big liability. Hollywood began quietly,
And that's not an
so
exaggeration.
quietly ghosting
One
Rachel
minute,
Zegler.
she was the future
Not
of Hollywood.
canceling.
The next,
Ghosting.
she was a PR nightmare.
You know things
no one
are
wanted
real
to
when
deal
casting
with.
directors
Not
start
because of one
passing on
mistake.
you. It's because she
Not
kept
because
doubling
you're
down on the
untalented,
worst
but because
instincts
you come with
possible. Online baggage. Here's the
That's
kicker.
the term
She's
everyone's
not
using.
being canceled.
No one wants
No
the
hashtags,
PR mess.
no outrage
No one
mobs.
wants their
It's
movie
being
trending
phased
for
out.
all the wrong
Quietly,
reasons before the
silently.
first trailer even
One
drops.
ignored email at a time
Is literally
That's
the star
Hollywood's
of a
way
Disney
of saying,
movie.
we're done
And
here.
somehow,
and it's
she's
way
the
more
one
brutal
acting
than
like a
cancel
victim.
culture.
It's
You
a
don't even
mentality
get the
that
dignity
poisons
of a headline
everything.
just silence.
She
and
acts
that's
like
the
her
thing.
life is the worst thing in the
Rachel
world.
Zegler is a
Meanwhile,
walking
her career,
masterclass in
once thought to be
how not
promising,
to build
is
a
now
career.
stuck in a weird
She
kind
had
of
the
limbo.
golden ticket movies,
Not
press,
dead,
endorsements,
not alive, just
but
hovering
what she
like that
didn't
cousin.
have.
The
You
connection.
forget to invite to
The
the family
real,
BBQ.
honest connection with
Sure,
an audience.
She still shows up to award
She
shows.
skipped the grind,
but
jumped
noticed
straight
something.
to the crown,
but forgot that
she's
you
not
need to
headlining
earn the
anything.
kingdom first.
No new roles.
Now the villagers
lead.
have abandoned the castle. Hollywood gave her the roles, the coverage, the whole stage. But they forgot one thing. She didn't have fans. No real base. No audience that cared. And now, empty theaters. Shelves full of unwanted merch. A cold sting of irrelevance. Because at the end of the day, the audience decides. It's not casting directors, not billion-dollar campaigns, not even Spielberg. The fans, the ones in the seats, the ones who actually show up and buy the ticket. If you ignore them, if you mock them, if you dismiss their...
She believes that a co-star might just outshine her. She's gonna send that compassion for a smoke break, and out pop the claws, and out comes the Hollywood hitman in high heels.
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story. Just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's how.
And you wonder why people are turning from this stuff into
Love for the classics. They don't riot, they don't scream, they just stop showing up. And then someone else steps in. Someone who gets it. Rachel Zegler's fall. It's not slowing down anytime soon. So hit that subscribe button before Hollywood wipes her off the map completely.